Hey guys, it's TFNut. Welcome back to the channel, and today for Anime Week Day 2, we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations S.H. Figuarts Dragon Ball Z First Form Cell. Very happy to finally have this figure here. I did wait a while since its release. I don't remember when it was released. I think like almost a year ago, maybe a little bit more at this point. But I just didn't want to pay 70 bucks for it. I'm not going to lie, guys. I was being a bit of a cheapskate with this figure, but this was available for $45 last month on Amazon Prime Days, so I decided to pick it up there. Yes, my box is a little bit messed up here, and I like collecting the boxes to where it was a little disappointing that it happened. But this is still, you know, a pretty nice release, and I can live with this box being a little bit messed up. I like collecting these boxes and storing them for later. But this box here is pretty nice. It's up to the standard of what we usually have with the Tamashii Nations line, with images of the figure throughout the whole packaging and different lettering of S.H. Figuarts First Form Cell throughout the box, different logos like the Dragon Ball Z logo, Toei logo, as well as Tamashii Nations and Bandai, ages 15 and up and all that. And then on the back of the packaging, you guys have seen a couple times a bunch of different posing and different option parts that are displayed on this figure. I do wish this came with a rock, but it does not, even though on the back of the packaging it shows him on the rock. Here's the figure out of the packaging, doing a 360 for you guys. I don't have the tail on here right now. I'll get to that in the accessory portion. Now, I think the trade-off with me having a cheap version of this figure is that the quality on my particular figure here is not amazing. And I am pretty sure that this is an official one, so it's not some kind of bootleg or anything. But I've had worse with Tamashii Nations lately. It's just that this one here, I do wish had a little bit better quality control. We'll take a look at that in the detail portion. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a close look at the figure. Just want to let you guys know I have temporary backlights. The lamps are a little bit warm looking, so I do apologize if that's how it comes across. I'm going to have to look for some new lights soon. Anyway, I want to talk about the tail first because it's like one of the biggest features about this particular figure. This is how it is packaged. It is separate from the rest of the body, giving you a look at all the detailing going on there. It's really nicely molded in a green color, a little bit of a basic black. This is more like a matte black, not that basic, but just a standard black, paint going on in the bottom here, and then a little bit of glossy black paint going on in different spots throughout the figure. So we'll get to it in a second. This is where it goes into the body, and then you have different attachment pieces like the absorption attachment piece, which also has some really nice consistent green paint and black splotches going on there. They're supposed to be there. The matte black there. A little bit of shading going on inside this cone piece there with some detailing on the inside of this rim. All of that looks really nice. A little bit of that rims type detailing. Not really sure what to call it, but there is a little bit of creasing going on out there. So that is really good. You just pop this on if you want. Let me grab the figure to finally show you that this is a little difficult. I think this might be. That's one thing we'll talk about in a second. This leg likes to pop out a lot. It's a little bit curved in right there. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to look. So, yeah, I don't really know who's to blame here, Amazon or Tamashii Nations, but my particular figure, I feel like I'm pretty sure it's brand new, and it already seems like it has seen better days. So I'm not sure what to do about a lot of this. This might have to get glued in eventually. Backing out a little bit, this is a rather large piece. This could stretch to like about the size of the figure. Yeah, it will look a little weird if you bend it like this or that with certain joints moving around and all that. But, I mean, it's still rather cool to pose it around in certain ways. Like, that looks pretty natural the way you do that. Now, we interchange this part here with this one that has the needle, or the stinger, which is about the same, if pretty similar in terms of approach as this one here. Of course, it's a little less curved than this one. So some of the detailing on here with these black splotches are a little different. But this is how I'll pose it with the stinger piece like that. One thing I do also want to mention, another thing, this also pops out really easily, so that is rather annoying. I was going to save some of the critiques for that during the detail portion, but it's all happening right now, which is not fun. Okay, so we have this face here, and then you have an alternate headpiece going on here. So this is how this looks. And then I've had to look as hard as I can if I didn't drop it. It does look a little bit more narrow in some areas. Like this looks like it's a little bit longer towards the top of the head. And it does look like the, it says on the box, but the, what is it? Eyebrow pieces are a little bit more curved. I personally just can't really tell that much of a difference. If I can pop it on. I guess I could kind of tell with that it can be a little bit curved, but again, honestly, there's not much of a difference there with that compared to that. I can kind of see a little bit less curved there, but it's still cool, I guess, that we have those different options. Before this figure completely falls apart on me, let's talk about the more basic stuff it comes with, or standard, I should say, when it comes to Tamashii Nations stuff, different faces and different hands. We have this screaming face with really nice printing in the eyes. The paint, the black paint around there is actually really good. The overall sculpting with that ear, both ears really are good. The orange type paint that we have, I mean, it's very much orange. I thought there was a little bit of brown, but it's pretty much orange. That paint's really clean. The separation of the tongue and mouth, all of that is also very good. I believe the eyes are slightly protruded with that sculpt. And then we have this smiling face, which does have a little bit of scuffing on my particular face, so actually might have been just dirt. There's something going on, though, in the plastic with that. Yeah, this particular figure I have is not very clean, unfortunately. But this face is still very cool. A little bit of mouth, or color in the mouth going on there. And then this is a more slanted type of smirk going on with this particular face. But all that is very, very cool. With the hands, we have these more relaxed hands with the really nice black glossy paint on the fingernails. Back of the hand has some nice darker green compared to the brighter green on the fingers that are molded there. The black dots all throughout are really cool too. A little bit of creasing on the inside of the hands there. We have these more clenched hands for choking out somebody. So this is also really good. I think the detailing of the palms could be a little bit better, but it's not too bad. That's what the back of the hands look like there. And the fingernails are also really clean. We have these more clenched fingers that are, definitely different from the ones I just showed off. These are more for different types of attack poses. I get pretty clean stuff going on here. I think a little bit of green is coming through on some of the black on the fingernails, depending on where you look. But nothing too bad. Last but certainly not least, we do have these flat hands for also blasting and action effects. And there's a black scuff right there on the thumb. Yeah, I know I paid less than what most of you guys who have this probably did. So I don't want to... Beggars can't be choosers, basically. But the quality on this particular figure, yeah, it's rather rough on my copy. Just to give you a heads up, don't be surprised if halfway through this portion I just forsake the parts that keep falling on this figure, which is the right leg and the right wing piece. That is, again, something that I think is very bothersome. Even though I paid cheaper, it just shouldn't be happening with these higher quality figures, or supposedly higher quality figures. What I will say, though, is, like, man, that head is fantastic. Very similar to the other head I showed off, which I didn't really go too much into detail because both of these pieces are very much, like a similar approach. I mean, there's nothing going on the inside of detailing there. But as you see, excuse me, the green is very consistent with both of these heads. This little piece right here is a very nice glossy, like it almost looks like it's a bluish type paint, but it's very close to black. The black specks throughout everywhere on here are also really clean. And then this closed mouth here, this, just basic mouth going on, that paint on there is also very good. And then the black specks on the face with a brighter green. I guess it wouldn't be brighter. It's more of just like a muted green, I guess. It just appears brighter compared to this richer type of green there. But the black going on in there is also very clean. The back of the head has this darker... or it's a little bit darker compared to up here, but the orange going on here with a nice creasing with lines sculpted in there, It might. I think it's actually going a little bit of like almost a gradient from like brighter to darker towards the base of the neck. So that's interesting. And then the rest of the neck, I could see why this was expensive because I think almost every. I have to feel with my fingernail. Almost every one of these black specks are, I think, sculpted in there, and they're definitely painted. Like on the darker green, all that I can definitely feel sculpting going on here. You can definitely tell the sculpting going on the wings. A little bit of black is mismatched in the spot it's supposed to be in a couple areas. You gotta look really hard to see it though. Oh man, that looks good. So I'm digging that. Again, this pops off, but it hasn't popped off yet, so that's cool. The chest, you can see some of that going on there. That's kind of just the overall design that's going on here, of course. They're really, I mean, I'm going to be talking about all these black specks all day if I just keep talking about it. You see for yourself, excuse me, how all of it is applied, and then on the fists too. Going on like under the pecs here. You get it in the crotch area, you get it in the upper thighs, and you get it in the lower legs, even down to the feet. It's really nice looking. All the different colors mixed together really well too, with this richer, slightly darker green, with the more muted green going on there. The brighter blue, and like the under parts of his entire body are very cool. So yeah, there's not much else to... I think the sculpting could be a little bit better in there, but it's cool that you can actually see it if you move this around, and it actually shifts around. That's actually very cool to see. And then this joint piece does have some detailing going on there, which is awesome. And detailing even in the joints where you could see the double jointed elbow for that light blue. And then we do just have like circular, you know, wrists. I could kind of forgive that because they are being covered a little bit more by this cuff piece of the forearm and the actual hand. Then you get down to the stomach. Similar to the top of the head here, you have this piece here that has a glossy, you can almost see me, a glossy paint application with a little bit of orange all the way around here on the stomach. Not a little bit, actually a decent amount, but it is a darker color in some areas compared to the crotch and the mouthpiece there. Some of the blue in the stomach with that detailing. Trying to look on the back. That's how that port looks, and it looked a little deformed earlier. Like right there. But everything still fits in there. We do have, again, the crotch piece. I think there's a little bit of orange going on to the green on that area. And then the inner thighs, you can see that that joint piece is getting covered with that. But you can tell that just it looks like a joint. But then you have this plastic piece covering that as much as it can. I may have to eventually super glue this if I think there might be a slight swivel in here, and maybe not. If gluing this is what will keep it from falling apart, and it's not going to prevent any other articulation, then I'm going to have to do it, because that's getting really annoying. It's falling off way too easily. But we do have the sculpting going on the knee pad there. And then in the inner parts of the, you know, the knee that gets covered up with the articulation, you can see all that, which is very cool to me. The figure overall also has a nice muscular form to it too. You see how some muscles are formed in like the thighs and the calf section. Definitely in the you know, chest and pecs, as well as the arms with the biceps too. Sorry if you hear my neighbors, they're stomping really loud for some reason. Okay, we look towards the... Well, this pops off a little too easily, but I think it pops back in just as easily. Yeah. So you can see a little bit of that light blue going on in the ankle there, and then these really nice talons, basically. With a little bit of a soft plastic for the feet going on there. That's what the bottom of the feet look like, just to show you what those toes look like. There's not much going on the bottom here. They put all of this stuff going on down there. Maybe because I gotta check the box again, because it says on the foot this was made in the Vietnam factory, so that could have been a problem. It's kind of become a meme at this point that if it's in the Vietnam factory, the S.H. Figuarts figure might be a total letdown. But overall, the feet look good, and you know, with some of the shortcomings in terms of quality, and I forgot to mention, actually really nice black paint within the wing pieces here. With that quality being a little subpar on my particular figure, the actual sculpting is still really good. I already know this portion might be a mess just because it's been on par for the review so far. We do have the dumbbell joint going up into the head, it goes into the neck, and then we do have separate articulation of a ball joint in the torso there. So you're going to get all this different range of motion with swiveling. It's a little tight. I might need to put some shock oil on that. That's as far up as it wants to go. Far down is actually pretty good. So there's all that. We have forward, back right here. The back actually doesn't really exist. It's mostly a forward motion we have. These do hinge up and down, but that's about it. No ball joint to where it can rotate or anything. The arms go out that much, and we do have, actually it goes all the way up. That's crazy. And then this thing does move with it, as you see there. And then it swivels in there. You can make it go up and down a little bit because this is a little bit of a ball joint there too. And then this is a little tight, but I do think this swivel here, I think, has a little bit of a ball joint going on there, like some other fig, kind of like Kakashi. I actually can't tell, but yeah, we have some range of motion there. It's pretty tight on this, but should be, yeah, there we go, full bend right there, pretty good. And then the standard wrist articulation that you guys are very familiar with by now. We do have, let's see, there's actually this joint in here keeps. The joint for the neck going into the torso keeps this entire top piece together. So, you know, a little bit of side to side. Like, this really does not move around that much where the chest is. But you're going to get most of that torso movement in the stomach there. And then it could be better back. But it swivels. It's all ball joint here. The ball joint at the tail. Hinge with swiveling in two areas there. Hinge with swiveling here. Hinge with swiveling at the, you know, interchangeable part there. Of course, this is going to fall out. I don't think it's a drop. It's kind of a drop down, but not really. But, you know, you can make it go all the way out there. It's really tight. Back like that. In and out like that. It's a swivel. So it's just a little bit hindered there. Double jointed knee. And then a ball joint here. It's a bit of a dumbbell joint. It can't really go up, but it can go down. And then a little bit pivoting, and then side to side like this. Sizing this is going to be a little tricky depending on where you want to focus. I'm going to focus towards the top of the actual head, not including those fin pieces. That's going to put this around the 16.5 to 17 centimeter range, close to 18.5 with those tall pieces. With all of that range, you're looking at around the 6.5 to 7.5 range if you're including the fin pieces. Lots of different S.H. Figuarts Dragon Ball figures here. Since I just reviewed it, I have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku there. The Premium Colors edition of Perfect Cell. Also, the Dragon Ball Superhero Piccolo. And over on the far right, that is the re-released Super Saiyan Vegeta. That was from earlier this year. I don't believe the sizing here is accurate because this cell should be taller than Piccolo by a lot. It's a little bit taller, but it should be like at least another inch taller. Overall, there are definitely solid things about this figure, namely the detailing throughout the whole figure, and the paint apps are very clean. I'm really digging a lot of the intricate details of the black on the figure, the different sculpt work. I do also really like the accessories. The biggest problem with my particular figure is quality control. That right leg popping out at the thigh is very, very, very annoying. And the right wing piece does tend to pop out, but really not as much as the leg. It really bugs me how much that pops out. So, you know, depending on how much you would have paid, yes, it can be very expensive. I'm not going to complain entirely too much just because I got a way more of a discount for this than originally was intended. But it's still a bit unacceptable what we have when it comes to quality control with this figure here. And this has been like, I think like almost a year since this came out, and that's kind of when the downhill of the quality started, at least from what I could tell with the Vietnam factories there. So yeah, I do wish it was a little better, but it is rather nice in other areas, and it makes me excited for an updated Perfect Cell hopefully in the future. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share, make sure your friends, follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.